for the opportunity to support motion itemized 30 on page 14 of today's order paper. Mr. Speaker, I cannot start a debate on the estimate of the health sector without reference to the Abuja Declaration. Mr. Speaker, the Abuja Declaration, among other things, enjoins us to invest not less than 15% of the total expenditure of the year. Mr. Speaker, looking at about 15.6 billion Ghana cedis that has been allocated to the Ministry of Health, it represents about 9%, including National Health Insurance, Agenda 111 and everything, just around 9%. Somewhere in 2016, Mr. Speaker, we're doing about 12 to 13%. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to up our game, especially when it comes to CAPEX. Mr. Speaker, on paragraph 8.1.2, the CAPEX outlook, a lot of project has been enumerated there to be completed in 2024. The Speaker, with the permission I read, the ministry intends to focus on progressing and completing ongoing projects to attain 100% completion as indicated below. And the Speaker, about 6 major projects have been enumerated there. Interestingly, Mr. Speaker, if you go to Appendix 4A of the main budget, the total allocation to CAPEX is 722 million Ghana cedis. That's the total. The Speaker, last year, the CAPEX was around 3 billion. There's a drastic reduction from 3 billion to 722. The Speaker, the interesting aspect is the fact that out of these 722 million Ghana cedis, and with respect to the number of project that has been listed to be completed in 2024, construction of 10-bed urology and nephrology center, the construction of 2 regional and district hospitals, about 6 of them. The Speaker, only 50 million has been allocated as health infrastructure. 50 million. How many projects can 50 million complete within a year? So the commitment is not there. The numbers, the number of projects that's been listed in this budget per the allocation is a clear mismatch. Mr. Speaker, again, if you look at the donor funding, because of the mismanagement of the economy, our donor partners are not encouraged to invest in the health sector. Last year, the allocation was around 2.9 billion, and less than 500 million was realized. And therefore, we need to, Mr. Speaker, pay attention to the health sector and then invest in the health sector. Mr. Speaker, again, let me take you to the ambulance service. Mr. Speaker, on paragraph 9.11, and with your permission, I read, the National Ambulance Service indicated to the committee that despite their vital role, they still struggle to get out releases for their budgetary allocation. For example, out of the 67,500,000 allocation to them, they only received 20.1 million. The Speaker, in 2022, the the National Ambulance Services, made not less than 41,000 cases. In 2023, as at the time they appeared before us, they had made only 27,000 cases. Mr. Speaker, as I have read from the report, out of about 67 million Ghana cedis allocation, they had received only 20 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, out of the 307 ambulances that were imported into this country, Mr. Speaker, in 2020, about 79 has completely been broken down. They are not in operation. And 12 have been involved in accident. So in all, about 91 of the ambulances are not in operation. Mr. Speaker, if we continue this way, I can assure you that in the next 1 to 2 years, we're not going to have a single ambulance in the fleet. Mr. Speaker, interestingly, once the National Ambulance Service is complaining of funds to even maintain the already existing ambulances, we have ordered about 26 new ambulances again. And out of these 26 ambulances that were supposed to be delivered in 2022 January, only 10 has been delivered as of now, and the rest are sitting in Dubai, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, again, when we don't have a sustainable source of even maintaining the already existing fleets, we are thinking about importing another 112 new ambulances. Mr. Speaker, if somebody is not thinking about, kickback, what is it that we cannot get money to maintain the fleet we have, but we are still buying more? We are behaving like somebody who is fetching water into a cane basket. We cannot maintain the fleet and we keep buying more. Mr. Speaker, it is very, very, very important if indeed we want to take emergency healthcare issues in this country seriously. We must begin to look at the National Ambulance Service. And for me, I am not surprised that they keep demanding money from people before they deliver their services. Per the records, Mr. Speaker, we need to do something very urgent about it. Mr. Speaker, let me take you to Agenda 111. The Speaker, in the report, the Agenda 111 people who appeared before us indicated that they needed, in the report on page paragraph 9.9, let me quote something from the report before I build on it. Mr. Speaker, the committee observed that as of November 2023, $251.4 million has been spent, and that they require about $1.4 billion to complete all the projects. Mr. Speaker, the commitment of this government to Agenda 111 is just a lip service. Mr. Speaker, they need more than 1.4 billion Ghana cedis to complete the whole project. After the commencement or the cutting of salt for the commencement of the project, 3 to 4 years down the lane, they have released only $250 million for the project. The Speaker, per their own report, this $250 million cannot even finish 20% of the Agenda 111 project. In this year's budget, about 1 billion Ghana cedis has been allocated. Even if you assume that all the 1 billion Ghana cedis will be released or disbursed, it means that they would have spent about $350 million. Mr. Speaker, if we really mean well for the good people of this country, and it is not for the political capital, Mr. Speaker, what prevented us from rolling out this project in phases so that at least these $250 million that has been spent could probably concentrate on, let's say, 10 projects. We concentrate on the 10 projects, we complete them, put them to good use. Now, we have spent $250 million, and these projects are dotted across the country as ongoing. None has been completed. Mr. Speaker, the commitment is not there. It's just for the purposes of political capital. Mr. Speaker, I think that we will have to think about how we do our things with respect to the health sector. And what government is saying out there is completely different from the reality, what they present to us at the committee level. Mr. Speaker, out there, when you watch television, it's as though everything is going on normal, projects are ongoing, they don't lack funds. But when they appear before the committee, Mr. Speaker, They don't have funds to proceed on the projects. And so, as leaders, the least we can do for our people is to be candid, to be truthful to the people. Mr. Speaker, the truth of the matter is that in Agenda 111, funds are not available to fully execute the projects. Mr. Speaker, let me take you to Basin Institute, National Basin Institute. Mr. Speaker, the National Basin Institute has been established. And if I may read, the committee recognized that the institute will begin full operations in 2024, which will involve the recruitment of personnel with a total budget of 78.8 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, let's take note that it is not the Basin Institute that is going to produce the basin or going to manufacture the basins. They are only going to perform supervisory role. They are not directly going to produce the basins. And Mr. Speaker, we have allocated as much as 78 million Ghana cedis to this small institute. And listen to what they are going to use the 78 million Ghana cedis for. Mr. Speaker, if you refer to their own document they presented to the committee, Mr. Speaker, they are going to use, out of the 78 million Ghana cedis, they are going to use 2.5 million Ghana cedis for international seminars and conferences. 2.5. I hope Mr. Speaker is listening. 2.5 for international seminars and conferences, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that is not enough. They are going to use about 3.4 million Ghana cedis for local seminars and conferences, the one they are hosting. So, Mr. Speaker, together, they are using more than 5 million Ghana cedis in another economy for seminars and conferences. For seminars and conferences. Seminars and conferences, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Ashok, relax. Mr. Speaker, that is not enough. You've not heard anything yet. Mr. Speaker, the institute that is not going to produce the basin itself, they are going to use 15.3 million Ghana cedis for facilitation of the manufacturing and the marketing of basins, etc. Facilitation. Even those who are going to produce the basins itself, how much are they going to use? 15 million Ghana cedis for facilitation. Mr. Speaker, again, they are going to use 13.9 million Ghana cedis for research and development of candidate basins. Mr. Speaker, I would want to assure the government that we will be watching with eagle eyes how this institute is going to use the 78.8 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, we will watch with keen interest. Mr. Speaker, another issue of interest is about the fact that the health facilities under the health sector or the health ministries are now being made to pay their own utility bills, electricity. Mr. Speaker, I think that it will have a toll on the quality of healthcare delivery in these health facilities, and government must review its policies. Mr. Speaker, I'll give you only one example. Mr. Speaker, if you go to Kolebu Teaching Hospital, in 2023, they budgeted for only 3 million Ghana cedis for electricity bill. But now, per government policy, they are going to use 23.9 million Ghana cedis for electricity bills, which means that they cannot get money to pump back to the facilities for the maintenance of their equipment, for buying new equipment. Mr. Speaker, this 20 million difference can even subsidize dialysis for about 2 years. And this is an institution that closed their renal unit for more than, Mr. Speaker, more than 6 months. The water bill, they budgeted only 1.5 million Ghana cedis for water bill. Mr. Speaker, per this policy, they are now paying about 9.3 million Ghana cedis for water bill. And I think that this will not help quality health delivery in the country, and therefore government must revisit this particular policy. Mr. Speaker, to wind up, Mr. Speaker, let's go to FGA. Mr. Speaker, you recall, if you heard in the news, that in Gambia and Indonesia, about 300 children lost their lives because of substandard cough syrup. That is how vital or sensitive the FDA is. If you don't have FDA, Food and Drugs Authority, that will be very efficient. That is what you experience. The Speaker, the FDA, when they appeared before us, they had exhausted their budget, and as far back in September, they were not even doing market surveillance. What it means is that I even have a video where people are manufacturing, polluted sachet water for us to drink. But Speaker, it's a very serious concern that I think that the FDA must not be starved. At best, or even in a worst case scenario, they must be taken off government subvention to generate so that they can spend in order to ensure that the food and drugs we consume in this country are wholesome. The Speaker, finally, the College of Physicians and Surgeons, the Speaker, from March 2024, they will not be able to train medical doctors in their specialties because government is owing them in excess of 19 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I thank you for the opportunity.